Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Latched podcast. Melissa here. For those of you who have never tuned into the Latched podcast, this is a podcast for all of you parents and care providers and watchers of tiny little humans who are in the trenches right now trying to figure stuffs out. Today, we're going to be talking about potty training round 2. And Lindi is here. You're listening to Latched Mama Podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Wirt, busy mom of 6 and owner of LatchedMama.com. Join us each week as we talk about pregnancy, breastfeeding, postpartum, and all things motherhood. Hi, friends.
Hi.
I'm a little punchy today. Don't really know why.
That was quite the intro.
I know. Wasn't it nice? It's really funny. I just kind of, shoot from the hip on these things. The stuffs. It's Tuesday. It's a Tuesday during the summer. It is.
Is it a rainy day today?
It is not a rainy day in Richmond, Virginia. It is a partly cloudy day here in Richmond, Virginia.
Ask us about 5 p.m.
Yeah,
it might be a rainy day.
Lindi told me it's supposed to storm.
Yes.
Which, changes when you have 12 kids combined. What is happening then in the evening?
It sure does.
So we're kind of in the beginning of the summer. We're making a bunch of content because Kennedy is leaving us. For a while, which is nice. I mean, nice for him. So we're going to throw together some content for you guys. So we're going to talk about potty training today. And honestly, we were supposed to listen, our homework assignment was to listen to the last potty training episode so we didn't repeat ourselves too badly.
We did not do our homework.
And we did not do our homework, which happens quite often in our lives. What?
Nothing.
I haven't.
No.
Whatever. Okay.
It's great.
It's great. So we're going to talk about potty training. I am, I guess, currently potty training. I'm kind of not potty training. By the time you get, since I have a substantial amount of children now, I've kind of gotten to that like really relaxed potty training stage. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about it. I don't know. Where do you want to start?
Well, who's next?
So Catherine.
Who would be next?
So
Catherine?
Catherine will be 3 in October.
Okay.
And Catherine has been pooped potty trained for 6 months. How does poop happen before pee?
You're not like following the norm here.
Do any children follow norms?
Maybe that's our lesson here.
Yeah.
How did that happen? I don't even know this.
She would get disgusted by her own poop.
Okay.
So she would like gag herself when I would lay down to change her diaper, and she just decided one day she was over it. And she literally has not had, other than being like sick, she has not had a poop accident since the day she decided she was done.
She'll go, does she have pull up a regular diaper? She'll go by herself.
Yeah, she wears a pull up. She has started like within the last month to go by herself. But we just set at a time. She'd go before nap time. Her nanny was amazing at it and would ask her, she'd eat lunch, and then she would go poop. She'd get a pop, like a lollipop. The lollipop would sit like on her bedside table. She would take a nap, and then she'd get the lollipop when she woke up from her nap. And literally, it was the easiest thing I have ever done in the potty training world. And like I said, she has not gone back. And it was literally just because she was so disgusted from her own poop. Wow. It's so weird. Kids are so bizarre. So bizarre. Now, pee. If you say, Catherine, do you have to go pee? She'll say yes, and she'll go in and she'll pee. The fact that she's not fully potty trained right now is one of those, we talked about this in the last podcast, is like, you have to be just as ready as your kid is.
Yeah.
I am not at the point with an 8-month-old right now that I want to set a timer and remind Catherine to go to the bathroom. And I need to. Yep. It's gonna be like a 72-hour process once it actually starts. I just haven't quite found the time to get there yet.
Yeah. It's something that if you start, you better commit.
Yeah.
And you don't back down. So whether you want to commit to an 18-month process and start early, or if you want to wait and commit for a week.
Yeah. And there are going to be some times where you think it's time and you both come together and you try and it's not. And you have to. It's kind of one of those like perfectionism things. Like it's not right. It's not working. I made a mistake, or I
just the wrong time.
Drawn judgment time, and then you just take a step back and you start again in a while, and you haven't failed.
Yeah.
It's literally just trying to figure out what's happening in a very, very tiny human's brain.
Yep.
But when you do wait and the kid is really ready, it can be very, very quick. Very, very quick. And I think Catherine is ready. I think I just have not gotten to the point where I'm ready myself, which is okay.
Yeah.
I think potty training, we talked, and I'm just going to just probably end up repeating ourselves, which is fine. Okay. I don't think you can talk about this topic too much because it is one of those that is not talked about. I remember when Nathan, my oldest, it was time to potty train him. And it was like, you have a baby and then you get them sleeping through the night. And then, there's solids, which has never happened. I don't think my babies have slept through the night until after that. But, like you have all of these like milestones that you think in your brain. And then at some point they get out of diapers and you potty train them and it's great. I don't feel like anybody ever told me how hard that process was going to be. Because like it changes your life once you try to like go out in public with said child who is maybe potty trained, isn't potty trained. And with your first, I don't think you're quite open to as like messes like you are. Like, I mean, now it's 6. Like, I'm like, oh, is that dog pee or human pee on the floor? I don't know. Let me just pick it up.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back to.
I remember being so stressed and like I was wearing a baby. Like, so I had, by the time Nathan was potty training, Alex was old enough that he was like riding on my back. And maybe I was pregnant with Caroline. I don't even know. But the idea of suddenly having to go into public bathrooms with an additional child, like there were so many things that I didn't realize were going to change when I like, you want to hit the milestones and you want to have those moments and you want to be like, yes, my kid is out of diapers. But I hadn't considered how much my life was going to change as soon as I had to like navigate bathrooms, places. Like, but you're a potty. I wasn't like a carry a plastic potty around person though.
But I do think from kind of 1 to 2, like you said, you don't really realize because it's like, oh yeah, they're potty trained, but they're brand new potty trained. So they might go to the bathroom like 3 times at the Mexico restaurant. Like,
oh God.
And then you have to figure out, okay, well, I still have this kid and we all need to go together. So like, that's what you're talking about, right? It's not absolutely. Just like one time and we're done and nothing changes. The future kind of changes. But then as you have 2, 3, then I'm thinking to myself, okay, I think they're ready, but am I ready to now pick up everybody and all my stuff? Can we physically get to the restroom? Can we physically fit in it? Like, do I have to leave kids outside?
That's the best.
And that's where I think I started getting a little bit lax and I was like, oh, we'll just wait till next summer.
Yeah, no, it's
we'll
totally
just wait till next summer. Like, and
we stopped at a rest stop a couple weeks ago. And I mean, I will admit, I'm a little germy-phobic-y more after COVID. Not because I'm worried that the family's going to get COVID as much as like, I've really, really enjoyed not being sick every 2 months. Like, I know that's crazy, but I'm kind of like now, hey, if you don't have to go into the bathroom, let's not go into the bathroom. So like, I literally looked at Catherine, who is really ready to be potty trained at the rest stop. And she's like, me go pee-pee. And I was like, no, just pee in your pull-up. And it's so terrible. It's so terrible to say, but like, I didn't want to cart like 4 kids into a rest stop on the side of 95 bathroom. And for those of you who are worried about Catherine, she ended up coming in and she peed in the potty and we did all the things and it was fine and everybody's great. But at that moment, 6 kids to navigate. I think that's one of the coolest things about boys. I would rather them just pee on a tree or pee on a bush at this point than like go inside of a public restroom sometimes. It's so bad. It's so bad.
So we recently drove to the beach and it's like a 4-hour drive and I'm like, the goal, I'm like, guys, like everybody please go get the pee out, get all the poop out, like just get it all out because we'd really like to go and not stop. Like we'd really like it. So we're like 45 minutes in, Millie's like, I gotta go to the potty. And I'm like, all right, girl, whip out the little, like this is really bad. But I'm like, you pull that little plastic potty out and she's on the potty. And then she's like, I'm like, are you done? She's like, yeah. She's like, but it wasn't pee. It was the poop that was ready. And I was like, you legit just pooped in the car. So then everyone starts smelling it. And it is like, and like Gabe's in the back, like, like busy gagging. And Matt and I are rolling down the windows and we're just laughing so hard because it literally smells disgusting. And it's really awful. And it probably should not happen. But I thought she was going to pee and she didn't. And then she's like, but I need you to help me wipe. And I'm like, in the front seat. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm back there and she's like, sorry, mommy, it's a messy one. And I'm like, okay, this is like.
But it's so nice because you get to the point where it just doesn't.
I'm just like, I just don't care. Wipe your butt. I always keep like a toilet paper roll, some extra trash bags. We don't
use legit toilet paper, not like flushable wipes. We have flushable wipes literally within 20 feet of us, are like everywhere we go. You have to. They sell them by like really big packs at Walmart. Yeah.
Well, maybe I need
well,
to get
Eric doesn't go anywhere. Like Eric came up to me last night at the swim meet, okay? And I'm working, working, quote unquote. So I'm volunteering. I'm handing out these heat ribbons, which means I have to literally watch every single heat finish to figure out who the kid is that wins. And like these kids,
and navigate yourself through the people.
Absolutely. And these kids like live or die, breathe from them. So Eric walks up with the 4-year-old who had to come to the swim meet. Was not swimming, but he was like, I have to come. So Eric was like standing there behind me and I'm like, what's up? Well, he has to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, I'm working. These kids need their heat ribbons. Well, I didn't bring the supplies. And I was like, oh my God, we are so dependent on these these wet wipes. I was like, well, hi buddy. I was like, do you have to go pee or poop? I don't know, mom. I just gotta go potty. And then he's like, can I get a ring pop? Because the bathrooms were right next to the ring pops. So then at that point, you don't know if the kid just wants something from the snack bar, if he's gonna poop, if he's gonna pee. And like, Eric, and all Eric is worried about is if he has the wet wipes, and he doesn't have them. And how is he going to go get them from the car with this 4-year-old at the swim meet? And like, we can't be dependent on the wet wipes. But like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know what the moral of that story is, other than the fact that kids literally will have, like, once you potty train, they will have to poop, and they don't have, most of them do not have that anxiety of like, I'm in a public place, or like, what does the bathroom look like
they
here?
want to poop whatever. In all the places.
All the places.
I told you about the Wawa story with Matt, right?
No,
I totally told you because I have a picture of it. He had the 4 kids and I had the twins, and this is when they were younger, right? So he's like, we're going to go to like Cabela's or something to go see like the fish or like something. And I'm like, you're gonna okay, like you do you. So they get in the
stayed at home.
So I had the twins at home, and he took the 4, right? Okay. So they get in the car, and it was like, and this is the story I heard like after 2 people. I gotta go to the bathroom. So where do they stop? He only goes to Wawa. That's like the only place like. They like little spoiled, a little privilege that he will stop to
poop
fill up
like,
his. No, he will only poop at home. But the kids, like, he's gonna fill up with gas, and they're gonna go in and get a snack.
Yeah.
Well, then everybody needed to go to the bathroom. Specifically Nora, who had to poop.
Okay.
So they all go in.
How old was Nora at the time? Like old enough to go to the boys' bathroom or the girls' bathroom?
4,
okay.
5. I don't even know what bathroom they went in. I think they went in the men's because he took them all together. But anyway, so they get there. The youngest doesn't have shoes.
Yeah. Oh,
no
which
shoes
happens all the time.
So he didn't bring her shoes. So you can't really stand in the bathroom. So
how was he gonna look at the fish with no shoes?
Hold on. I'm getting this. So they're in the bathroom. He's holding one.
Okay.
Everybody is in the handicap stall together, and Nora is like on the toilet, like in the picture, and Gabe and Lennox are standing in the corner like this, and there's Penelope, like, I don't know what she had on her feet. I think she was standing on paper towels or something like that. But so then he left there. So then they went and tried on shoes at Target. In the cart, he bought her some dress shoes because that's the only ones she liked. And they finally made it to Cabela. I swear he texted me after, and he was like, OMG. He's like, I have no words. It was a little bit of like, I understand a little bit more about like what you do and the shoes and the people and the potty and the things, and you can't separate them.
And like, once your kid is potty trained, they need shoes on. Like, that is something that's so funny. It's like, we'll run out, especially to get like takeout or something.
In the car. Like,
but like if you're taking a kid out that you have worked so hard to potty train, and you're going any place that you weren't even going to pull them out of the car, they still need to have shoes on, because if they have to go to the bathroom, you have to bring them.
Yeah. And there was one time I actually went in, and it was the twins and another kid. Yeah. And well, they didn't want to use the same stall. They all wanted their own stalls. So I'm standing there kind of by the sinks. All the doors are open. We are taking up the entire bathroom. Everybody's got their door open. They're chatting and whatnot. And people come in and they're like, the doors look open. So they like want to go. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I have like all my kids in like all the stalls. And they just look at me like I'm a complete idiot because the doors are open. Like, do I teach my kids privacy? But I'm like, they're 3 years old. Like,
It's so
and then I'm like
hard.
helping like multiple stalls.
Yeah, I think
Like,
this
I
episode is
mean-
just going to be like poop happens. Like you just literally, and because then if you're not a baby wearer and you bring a toddler in and you have to wipe somebody else's butt and you put your kid down, the kid doesn't know where he is. They're gonna
No, they're
literally
gonna lick
crawl,
the floor,
yeah,
dive into the
oh
trash.
My
Like,
gosh. Ugh.
yeah.
Oh, and also, if you guys are going away this summer, beach and salt water will change the consistency of your child's excrements. It's like no joke. Every time we go away, somebody sharts their pants, like an adult child, like who should not an adult child, but like an older child, because literally that salt water just changes everything.
Well, they drink half of it.
They drink half of it, and then
they cannonball it, and I don't know where it all goes.
Yeah,
It's like a natural enema. Like,
yeah, it's a total. That's exactly what it is. It is salt water is a natural enema. Maybe that should be the topic of this podcast. I was gonna say like poop happens, but maybe
I like
salt
that
water.
too.
Salt water is a natural enema. Eric went to like we always go to the beach around his dad's birthday, and his dad lives where we go, and he took just Nathan out to lunch with his dad one day, which was really nice. It was a really nice treat for the oldest. And Nathan had an accident at the table, and Eric was like, we were in the bathroom for no joke 50 minutes trying to clean up that accident. He's like, and then what do you do? Because it's all inside of his pants, and the kid doesn't wear underwear. It was a nightmare. So yeah, I don't know what
I don't
the
even know
moral
what to
of that
say.
story
Do you
is.
like pack some extra clothes?
Well, he had
Another
wet wipes.
thing,
He had
like
his wet
I
wipes.
refuse to do a one-piece bathing suit if you are helping or potty training a toddler in the summer. Like, find a tankini, find something that you don't have to get this thing down and up wet. Like,
that's the worst. Yeah, and just guys, embrace nature. We talked about this on the last one too. Like, if it's summertime and it's a good time to potty train your kid, and you live somewhere that is private enough to do it, just ditch the pants, ditch the underwear. It's kind of like I have this new thing that brings me a lot of peace if the stomach flu ever comes in good weather. It's like I just bring the kid outside. If we're like, like past that first 24 hours where it's like constant getting sick, I just go outside with them and just sit them on a blanket, because then if they get sick, it's so much easier.
Fine.
So I know
Yeah.
that sounds really crazy, but it lowers my anxiety that I have with
Yeah.
the stomach stuff. But same thing with potty training. Like, get outside, because I know you did the twins over the summer, right? And you guys just played in the driveway.
Yep.
I remember, right?
Yeah, I saved it till they were 3 in March, and I had just waited. I waited like another 2 months, and we tackled it in the summer. We had undies. We didn't do naked because we were in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we did do the undies, and we took our potties and our T-shirts, and we did water play and
Yeah.
did a lot on the driveway.
Yeah.
Worked really well.
It's really, really nice to be able to use like the weather and to
So-
be outside and stuff like that.
Because
especially
potty training
boys
in the
and-
winter, like, I don't think I would ever do it. Ever. You just talk about like wet jeans or wet pants, and then
Yeah.
it's in the socks and it's in the shoes and it's just in the car.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Do you always do pee first and then
Mm-hmm.
the other one? Is that,
Usually.
yeah.
Yeah. Because we would usually do, I'd start and they'd maybe still be taking an afternoon nap.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would find would happen is they'd have a pull up and they would usually do it right after nap, because it just felt comfortable still to them. Because that whole poop feeling, it's so out of body, a little out of control feeling, I think, when you're younger. And so it would end up just going in the pull up, and then we would eventually tackle that. But
Nate, I think.
unlike Catherine,
And
So-
Catherine likes to control everything. She's our swim lesson dropout too. I mean, she's just the one that is like,
I'm
I
going
don't
to do
want
what I want to do.
I don't want to see my poop anymore in my pants, so I'm gonna. I know how to do it. I'm just gonna go to the potty and do it. Yeah. I mean, I think Nathan was a corner pooper. It's just like that, like emotional safety type of thing, I
Yeah.
guess, to do that. I don't know. It's so weird. But yeah, it's okay if they don't come at the same time, which I think
Yep.
is also a really good lesson. But it's
Yep.
really hard too, because they also say like once you're like potty trained, don't wear pull-ups anymore. But then what does that mean? I have thrown out more than one pair of underwear in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Like just
I have
pitch
as well.
it. Yeah. What else? Oh, you wanted to talk about nighttime versus daytime as well.
I mean, we can. I just think for me, and I think it comes back to, once again, every kid's different.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of my kids, I think that nighttime comes with that kind of brain growth and as they're getting older to be able to regulate that. I know you can limit the fluids and do all that, but I mean, I've had kids out of pull-ups at night at 5, and I've also had a kid in pull-ups till 11.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And the weird thing is the kid that had the pull-ups till 11, I don't think he's ever had a pee accident during the day. Ever. It's like he sleeps like a rock. He also dreams. He's also my spectrum-y kid. And it takes a while. It takes a while for him to process and understand what's going on with his body, especially at night when he's completely out of it. So, and it's okay. I mean, you can always go check up with your doctor. We always brought it up every year, and he was like, I don't have any concerns. So
yeah. I mean, I think
it's a tough one.
You also have to decide what you can handle as a mom. And I think that that's what, like I said, kind of how we started this. The whole is like potty train. Yes. Because, you know, they say that you're supposed to have this milestone by this point, but you also need a potty train when like you're emotionally ready to potty train. You also need a night potty train when you're emotionally ready to night potty train. In our house, sleep is non-negotiable. There are so many moving variables every single night for me to get any sort of sleep, especially with a tiny one right now, that if my 4-year-old, who probably, if I committed to it, would be completely fine without a pull up on at night, the chance that he wakes me up because he has an accident right now, I feel better with him with a pull up on. I don't think it's hurting anything. I mean, he's not going to sleepovers. Like he's okay right now. He doesn't know. He pulls on his pull up with Catherine every night before he goes to bed, and I don't see him until the morning most nights. So just know that like you matter too, and your family matters as well. So like, don't always feel like you have to do things when you think you could kind of force them to be done. Does that make sense?
Or they're like socially like the norm,
like
or what everybody else is doing.
Like
because the other thing, my girls, my twins, we had this little puppy clock. They call it puppy ball clock. It's this puppy with this red ball and it turns green. And I set it, and it kind of just helps them understand a little bit more what time it is. So I have it set for like 7 a.m. and they can come out. Well, as soon as you start potty training, like if you're one that kind of, hey, it's okay for you to come on out, and maybe that's not for everybody, but they need to be able to come out whenever they need to go to the potty. So we had to have a whole puppy ball conversation. I said, well, the potty is now different. Potty overrides the puppy ball. Like, you know, so if you have to go to the potty in the morning and it's red, you 100%, you come out of your room, you can go potty, and then you guys can go back in and play blocks or whatever until the time. Now, this was when they were like 4. They're 6 now, so they really I don't really care when they come out, and I hear them go potty in the morning, and then they go play and do whatever. But that also, you start that potty training or you start pulling off that that pull-up, sometimes you lose those hours, whether it is the middle of the night or it is early in the morning, because you need to help facilitate that. Like, you have to help keep that going, you know?
Yep.
And we're also in a weird stage right now with Estelle. She's literally dry. She's been dry forever. But whenever we try without it, she'll wet the bed. So we somehow have this connection or feeling to this pull-up that like somehow now we need to break. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like the weirdest thing. But these are the things that like happen that you don't always expect, or it doesn't always go that way with each kid. And
and you know, you're the world's best parent until you actually have children, until you have different kids, until you have different personalities. You know, you're the world's best parent for that one that you have, and then you have one that is completely different. It's all just kind of a journey. And I think that the biggest kind of potty training takeaway that I have felt, which is kind of the takeaway of all of these podcast episodes, is that each kid's going to be different. And that don't forget the fact that you're allowed to have needs too. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Make it easy.
Yeah.
There's no shame in, you know, slowing down the process a little bit, you know, until you're ready and until the whole family structure's ready too.
Yeah. And I know we're almost done, but like talking about, I know that whole poop thing, because I had one that held theirs. That was so traumatic. And I was like this poop doula. But educating them about, like, because they asked, they're like, Mom, like, where does my food go?
Yep.
Oh, the other day, well, this is kind of on topic, but not. We were trying to figure out if birds actually pee.
Okay.
So we're Googling, like, do birds pee? And
Yeah.
it's like, well, they don't have a bladder.
Yeah.
So they do have the liquid and it combines with
the
the
poop.
solids. And so that's why it's always like, you know,
Yeah.
but literally just talking about how your body works and how this is normal and it happens for everybody. Cause like that's the whole conversation I
Yeah.
had with Nora. And we talked about where it goes and how it comes out. And
Yeah. And don't
It's a
be
normal
afraid.
thing.
We talked about this in the last one too. Don't be afraid also to get your other kids involved. You know, and the education process, the demonstrating process. I don't know. I mean, we're completely open book in our family, and you know, everybody kind of helps everybody else with the different things. But
Yeah.
you know, the more you can kind of like educate as the kids get older, you know, the more they can.
especially if they're close
Help.
together.
Yeah.
I swear, I was going to potty train Gabe and I was terrified because the first time it was quite an experience as like a new mom and you're potty training your
Gabe's
first
number
kid.
2.
Gabe's
Yep.
number 2. So I was like, okay, like we kind of need this to happen. I think he was 3.5 going on 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also a little worried because he was on the spectrum and I wasn't sure how that would go because it's quite a learning process. So I was like, let's do it. Like we need to do it. I think he's ready. And I decided to do it. And then I had an infant at the time. I had Nora. All of a sudden it dawned on me, I have not asked this kid if he has to go to the bathroom. 2 days have gone by. And I was like, kind of freaked out. And I went to Lennox. I said, has Gabe gone to the potty? Like, buddy, have you gone to the potty? And he's just like, yeah. And so I asked Lennox, I'm like, is he coming? And he's like, Mommy just follows me. We just go together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, my big kid just potty trained my second kid. Like
Fine.
they literally just went
Yeah.
together. They're so close in age.
Yeah.
Every time they went to the potty, they just went together and
That-
he went.
Same thing with Benjamin.
And
It was
so
like,
use
we
the
did-
kids. Do
yeah,
it in groups.
Absolutely. We did the everybody gets a lollipop when Benjamin goes to the bathroom, and
So they
we
all
went
help
through
him.
a lot of dum-dums, but it was awesome because anytime anybody wanted a dum-dum, they'd ask Benjamin if he
You
had to
wanna
go
go
potty,
potty?
and I didn't have to remember anything. So Benjamin, the poor kid, was going out front to pee on a tree like every 10 minutes that week.
That's
But it didn't matter.
awesome.
Everybody got so many freaking lollipops. And you know what? Benjamin
Got
was
it
potty
done.
trained by the end of the week, and I didn't have to do a whole lot of anything.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
Mom hacks. Join us
There
next
you
week
go.
for more. Thanks, guys. Bye.